Dear friends, good morning to everyone. Today we will present a new series of videos, and as you can see, we are not in the field, but in a studio. We will make videos to create a practical guide for those who do not want to repair personally, but want to understand what the problems are, and then rely on a specialized technician. Today we will talk about the oven. And here are the main symptoms that may occur. This video is divided into chapters, so on the bottom bar you can go directly to the part that interests you the most. One of the first problems that may occur is that the oven does not turn on at all, meaning it performs no function. You have no light, nothing. And the first two things you can check yourself, because they are the simplest, are to check the timer. That is, if the oven is equipped with a timer with the end of cooking function, meaning a timer that can turn off the oven. Once you have programmed it capable of turning off the oven at the end of cooking, you need to check that. The pointer of this timer is positioned on the hand symbol, because otherwise, if it is in another position, the oven will not turn on. So once you have checked the timer, and if indeed the oven is positioned, the timer is positioned on the hand symbol, then at this point you need to check if there is power in the outlet, so you are forced to pull the oven out of the cabinet and check the power outlet. At this point, if everything is fine with the power outlet as well, a technical intervention is needed, because evidently the problem is inside the oven. And what could be wrong inside the oven? There are various things to check. The technician will verify, for example, the terminal block to see if it's in good condition or if it might have burned out. Or there could be an issue with the safety thermostat that has remained open and thus doesn't allow the current to pass, causing the oven not to work. Or it could also be due to the function selector, which has burned out, or possibly if it doesn't turn on, because the circuit breaker trips. When you try to turn it on, there might be one of the resistors that is short-circuited. Another problem we might have is that the oven doesn't heat up, meaning it turns on partially. So maybe the interior light works, the indicator light works, but then it doesn't produce heat. This generally depends either on the cooking thermostat or the function selector, which are internal issues that the technician can check. Or the oven heats up only a little, so it can't reach the proper temperature for cooking food. This could be due to one of the heating elements not working anymore, or the cooking thermostat. It can also happen that the oven heats up too much. In this case, there might still be an issue with the cooking thermostat, which doesn't trigger at the right point when it should, but goes beyond. So generally these ovens are designed to operate at a maximum temperature of about 250 degrees. So the thermostat should trigger at that point. However, it happens that due to a malfunction of this thermostat, it no longer triggers. If this doesn't happen, the oven keeps heating continuously and could burn the food. Then it can happen that the oven turns on, and after a certain time, it turns off. This can depend either on the cooking thermostat, which turns the oven on, but then turns it off at an inappropriate time, thus triggering at temperatures different from when it should, or on the safety thermostat, which also has a malfunction and therefore triggers and turns off the oven when it shouldn't. Or it could also happen that the cooling fan no longer works. So if this fan stops working, then the safety thermostat comes into play and turns off the oven. And then it can also happen that if it turns off, after a certain time triggering the circuit breaker, it means there is a malfunction in one of the heating elements. What we did today is a new type of video, as you have seen. So let us know what you think about it. If you liked it, send us comments so that we can improve. Dear friends, thank you all and see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.